Welcome back to Bay Sunday. Preemptive parenting is key when it comes to helping our teens navigate the perils of high school. And here in the studio this morning is Dr. Schiebert, author of the book, Let's Make a Contract, Getting Your Teen Through High School and Beyond. Dr. Ann, thank you so much for joining us. This is a very important topic. So many parents worried about how to develop their children, how to take care of their children. What inspired you to write this book?
Well, my own personal experience as a mother of three and a teen who had some substance abuse challenges, and years of clinical experience sitting in my office having parents say to their kids, "You should have known better," and the kids saying, "I didn't know better and it's your fault because you didn't tell me." So I was inspired to write this because kids need to know ahead of time what potential situations could arise for them, what the expectations are, and what the consequences are for not following the parents' guidelines.
The kids have to know, and also the parents have to know, and that's your emphasis.
Yes, because the parents have to think this out. Parents are a life support system for their kids, and when we think of life support, we really think of going to the hospital and having a hospital apparatus, but they're a support for life. So they have to be ahead of their kids and not allow their kids to be so influenced by peers. The peers' brains aren't developed enough, just like their own kids, to make wise decisions. There's no foundation for wise decision making.
So you're a psychologist, so you've had plenty of exchanges, you've worked with parents, you've worked with troubled teenagers. Talk about some of those exchanges that you've had, and what are you seeing these days from middle schoolers, high schoolers? What are some of the problems that parents are facing as well as kids?
Well, number one that I get involved with is drugs. Everybody thinks marijuana is not harmful. But I've done plenty of research on this, and I've treated plenty of kids for addiction. I also work in an emergency department, and I've seen young children, teens, and young adults come in psychotic from using marijuana. And how do I know it's just marijuana? Because we do blood tests. But getting ahead of that, like what's going to happen? What kind of decision are you going to make, honey, if somebody offers you a joint? And here's our family values around that, and here's the consequences if you don't respect those, so that the kids know up front what to do, and you can practice scenarios with your kids. Otherwise, they have nothing from which to judge.
What are some of your other practical advice and tips for parents who are perhaps dealing with a problematic situation with their children?
Well, find out what the problem is. So many of us go into denial and think, oh, that's not really a problem, it's a trend, it's a fad, so I don't have to deal with it. But get involved with it, because the longer it goes on, the worse it's going to get.
And what about the contract? What is this contract that you're talking about in this book? Let's Make a Contract.
There's plenty of sample contracts in my books, but here it is. What is the agreement? What are your responsibilities as a parent and as a teen, for example? Because teens love parents having responsibility too, because they can be accountable. And then the consequences are in there for both the teen, in this example, and the parent. So it is sort of a joint agreement, which the teens don't have to agree to, by the way. But everybody has a consequence, everybody has a responsibility, and everybody has an agreement. And honestly, from my practice, it's stopped so much of the chaos in households because there's no argument. There it is on the refrigerator.
Yeah. Now we have the internet, we have all kinds of problems that arise from it, including bullying, kids dealing with that at school, online. How has parenting changed in the last decade or so?
I think many of us parents are behind the times, and we don't know what to do. And face it, the video games and the computer are great babysitters. So behind the times, we have to get in front of them and say, okay, you get so much time on the video games, and that's it.
Dr. Ann, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on this book that you just wrote. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, the book is called Let's Make a Contract, Getting Your Teen Through High School and Beyond. When Bay Sunday comes back, the latest home decorating trends when we come back after this break.